Okay. I guess you're still on winter schedule.
What?
So the summer you're not going to be.
Summer, I'm not going to be here. Well,
So
yeah,
it's not-
some weekends maybe.
So I'm saying so it's not the summer yet. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, some yes, some no. Depending what the boss said. I got my work this.
We're going to talk about the boss today. Just a different boss.
What?
We're going to talk about the boss today, but
Oh yeah.
a little different. A little different boss.
Are you going to be here all summer? Or are you quitting?
If this ever wants to come, so yeah, Mitzvah Hashem.
You will be here.
I think we did last summer.
Yeah.
We don't stop.
No, I'm on it. I'm on the iPad. You know.
Yeah, you told me. No, if Mitzvah Hashem, if people are going to come, I think most weeks will be here. Bezos Hashem. I'm hoping we'll see. I don't know. We're getting real. I mean, the pages at the end are really thin over here.
All right.
I don't want to say anything. I'm just saying that's a reality.
What page are we starting with today?
That's a good question. We're going to go with 222.
No, the opens.
It's on page 222. Last 2 weeks ago, I think it was 2 weeks ago, we started the sixth, I think it's second to last parak in this amazing gate within the larger sefer called Chovos Levavos, which we've explained. There are still people today who do not know that the sefer Chovos Levavos is more than Shaar habitachon, because Shaar habitachon became so popular, and all books are being put out just on Shaar habitachon. People think Chovos Levavos is only this one Shaar, when in fact it's one of multiple gates. It's I think the fourth of I think 7 or 8. I don't know the number. Maybe 10. I don't remember. Gates. So it's a piece of the puzzle. Chovos Levavos, it's making a big comeback. Mesilas Yesharim's always been around. Chovos Levavos is making a big, strong comeback, and it has a lot of, as those who have really, gotten into the sefer and let the sefer get into them, as the Kotzker says, has seen the yashrus and the logic, step by step, and it gets you to think, and it's not machmir in any way. It's just clear logic, emes, and take it if you want it. And I think in the the Baal Chovos Levavos and his clear logic and the way he has presented things in this Shaar and all the gates really, but we started off at the beginning in Parak Aleph, really the Hakdama already, discussing the benefits, just in general, of what life could be like if you're Baal Bitachon. And he built it up, right? The Baal Bitachon versus the alchemist, way back when. The Baal Bitachon, who could have very little money in his bank account, could be infinitely calmer, more tranquil, and more happy than the alchemist, the one who could turn metal into gold. That was the beginning. And he discussed with us in Parak Aleph and Parak Beis what is the definition of Bitachon. And then 3, he laid out the Yesodos of Emunah that Bitachon is really based on, 7 conditions of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. And then in 4, and 5, we started to draw it down the Maisa into each sugya of our life, as we've done. And now, in the 6th parak, after the Chovos Levavos has already told us the benefits and told us how amazing it is to live that way, and then told us the rules and the Gedarim, the structure, the quote-unquote, the halachic parameters of what Bitachon is and how it's supposed to be used. Any logical, straight person would say this is the right path. It's a journey. It's a mountainous climb that you have to start from the bottom and climb your way up, but it's the right path. It makes sense if we could slowly traverse and grow and learn and understand and daven and work and Bitachon and make mistakes and fall. And I talk to people all the time that they're working on it, and they have difficulties, but then they come back and they understand. Everybody in their way is working on it. But by the 6th parak already, the Chovos Levavos says, okay, I've already given you all the the positive way of saying it. If you're still not there yet, now he turns into a little bit of like a musar shmuz. And until now, everything was positive, optimistic. Everything was growth oriented, building, bottom up. And now he goes a little bit hard. Not that it's negative in any way, but he goes strong. And people who are still not getting it, maybe, as a last resort, you shake him up a little bit, that can help him. Maybe you speak strong to the person. Maybe we don't want to speak strong to people right away. That's not, our derech. Our derech is to speak to them in a nice, soft way, with ahava, but with, responsibility. And, to understand that there is a world out here that it's not just games and fluff. It's real, but we speak it in a nice way. And how amazing it is. But then if you're not getting it, then we need to speak a little bit louder. You need to maybe scream in your ear because you're obviously not getting it. At least give the person one more chance before that person gets to choose. This is bechira. I don't want to live with bitachon. The person could choose that. But we're trying to give him the most opportunities to see if maybe he's making a mistake. Maybe he doesn't realize what he's doing, how he's acting. Maybe he doesn't understand what he's thinking. So the Chovos Halachos is going to go in strong and try to give this person, one last shake up, one last wake up call to give him a chance. So that's what we started 2 weeks ago, and I want to start it again because I think we have to. I didn't present it at the beginning properly. I don't think. Hopefully today will be better. I don't know if it'll be the best, but it'll definitely be better. We don't need to read the words necessarily inside, but I want to we're gonna read different parts of it, and we're gonna give a little bit of a background to explain where we're coming from. So in page 222, so he starts off. Let's just read the English. I don't have to read both right now. In the English, just start off the first paragraph. He says, "I have seen that it is necessary to expose with 7 points the foolishness and errors of those people who engage in this way of thinking." There's a big mistake people are making, and I need to expose them. We're going to have a big documentary, an expose, is that what they call it? To reveal, right, the hidden truths, the lies, the superficiality. We're going to go in deep, and we're going to show people you're not thinking straight. And these people, we'll just read the next paragraph a little bit. These people who are called the Bali Hamashkonos, right? Hamashkon is a pledge or a collateral, right? Explains on the bottom of 222, their conduct, these people who are making big mistakes, their foolishness, how do they conduct themselves? Their conduct towards God is akin to a merchant who sells on credit to a person whom he does not trust to pay. Okay? You sell a person some items, and he's going to pay in a month, 2 months, a year, whatever the terms are, but I don't know if this buyer is going to pay. Everybody's dealt with these things before. And therefore, he takes a security pledge at the time of the sale out of fear that the buyer can't be trusted or that the buyer won't be able to pay for the merchandise that he purchased. Right? So this buyer wants my goods, whatever it is I'm selling. I say, listen, buddy, I want to do business with you, but I don't know you. And if you're telling me you're not going to pay me for 6 months, how am I going to know if you're going to get the money? Maybe you won't have the money. Maybe you'll just run away. You'll scam me. So give me your, $100,000 watch. Right? It's a collateral to hold on to. And when you pay me the money in 6 months, like you said, because you have my goods, then I'll give you the watch back and we'll move on. Shalom Aleichem. So, who is this? Who is this person? Who is this fool? Who is this person who's making a big mistake that is akin to the merchant who's selling on credit? Who is this person? So, it's really what the Chovos Halachos ended off with at the end of Parak 5. So, the end of the 5th Parak, if you go back to page 217, I'll read a little bit of it. So, on the bottom of 217, in the bottom right, we were discussing the last non-Baal Bitachon. So let's just read it again, because we need to know who this fool is. Conversely, a person who does not rely on God will be greatly pained due to the constant troubles that befall him. And he can't handle any loss. He can't handle it. Again, emotionally, he can't handle it. The loss of his friends and his requests being denied from him, he feels deserving, he feels entitlement, he expects certain things, and he can't handle it. He's upset, he's distraught, he's worried, he's anxious, he's nervous when he doesn't get what he wants. He also, who is this person? He will save up a great fortune of the world for himself. He'll hoard a lot of money, as if he is assured that he will be spared from being transferred from this world to the next. Right? This is the person who doesn't think about the day of death. We discussed this for a while. He doesn't think about the day of death. He thinks he's going to live forever. How do you see that? From the fact that he's hoarding so much money that him, his children, his grandchildren, they couldn't spend this money. It's not possible. Or he builds a house. Sometimes you see houses that are built that it looks like they're going to try to live there for 500 years. So this person doesn't think that there's an end. The fear of death is removed from him, as if his days will never cease to be, and his life will never end. And we said, of course, therefore, if life's going to be on, if I'm going to live for 200, 300 years, even though he's not thinking those numbers, but again, Ki'ilu, this is what he's thinking, well, I got a lot of bills to pay. That's 200 years of electric bills. That's a lot. So I need to keep working. So you have the guy who's hoarding because he's about taiva maybe. The person who's hoarding because he's always nervous and worried. How much is he going to need for the 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, until the sun goes out? He does not think about what will happen to him at the end of his days. He's just not concerned about these things. Involving himself instead in worldly matters, page 218, alone. He does not pay attention to the matters of his observance of the Torah and to how much provisions he has prepared for when he will go to his ultimate resting place in the world to come. He's not thinking about, he has no time to think about Olam Haba, Torah, mitzvahs in this world, because he's got to worry about the Gashmis. I gotta make the money, I gotta live. We understand. His confidence that he will live a long life in this world is the cause for his constant desires for personal matters. So he has taivas, but the taivas are being motivated because he's not thinking about that there's an end to his life. It's a deep opinion. And it is also the cause for his decreased desire for spiritual matters which are needed for the world to come. So the non-Baal Bitachon is focusing heavily on the materialistic aspect of this world, focusing primarily and almost only on it. Very little focus at all on Torah observance, because he's got a lot of things to worry about, or he has to show off, or whatever it may be. The motivating factor for his constant involvement in Gashmias, whatever that reason is, but that's what he is, and therefore he has no time for anything else. So this person, I'll ask you, this person, he's Shomer Torah mitzvahs, or he's not Shomer Torah mitzvahs? I think Pasha, yeah. We're not talking about someone who's not affiliated. So someone Shomer Torah mitzvahs. He goes to shul 3 times a day. He keeps Shabbos. He keeps Yom Tiv. He doesn't turn on lights on Shabbos. He sends his kids to yeshivas. He probably went to yeshiva at some point. I don't think anybody would disagree. I don't think so. Anybody want to disagree with that? And Shomer Torah mitzvahs. But he's caught in this rat race. He's caught in this Gashmias world. He's caught with these worries and these anxieties. And therefore, his entire life, although again, he's doing certain acts, Torah acts, mitzvah acts, Yiddishkeit acts of observance, his mind and his heart are not there. Probably not when he's doing it even. And then for sure, at the times that it's not officially obligated, right? If it's in the middle of the day, I don't think he's turning to a Kodesh Baruch Hu to daven. He's probably not looking to add anything to his most basic minimum requirements of learning. Right? And the basic requirements, when someone learns a sugya, could be very, very little. You could be Mekayim, the mitzvah Talmud Torah, very, very little every day. And he's happy with that. Maybe he does a little bit more. Maybe he goes to a Shaar on Shabbos. He goes to the rabbi's drasha once a week. But he's getting by. He's getting by with basically, very simple. He reads the Shabbos pamphlets. They come out. That's his learning for the week. Again, it's good. I'm not saying it's bad, but I can't. That's all he has time for. It's all he has focus for. He gives a little tzedakah, but not too much. So this person who's Shomer Torah mitzvahs, but he's not a Baal Bitachon, so he is a Mammon. Let's get that clear. He has a Munah. He does believe in a God. He does believe in the Torah. He does believe in the Rabbanan. And therefore he does his basic minimum requirements of Yiddishkeit. He does. For whatever reason, he does. Out of Hergel, so he doesn't get punished and go to Gehenna, whatever it may be. But he's doing it. More than that, he doesn't have any time. The whole week he's focused on Gashmias. And on Shabbos he's so tired, from all the Gashmias during the week, he just has to sleep. Maybe he has a little bit extra cholent, Yeah, maybe a little bit extra Shabbos Joshua. He might even sing during davening a little bit. He's not against it. It's just that, but he has no time for anything else. Now, this person often, we're not talking about a specific person. This is a very large scheme, and we're not thinking about any specific people at all. We're thinking about ourselves. But this person often is very satisfied. He's very satisfied. He's doing his basic requirements. He doesn't think that there's anything more. And he feels that his obligations in this world are to support himself and his family. He has to work hard. He has to support them. And he has to give them the best that life has to offer. So he's pretty satisfied with his Torah observance. Again, the way the Chovos HaLevavos says, the Baal Chovos HaLevavos says, he's not concerned about it because he has other concerns that outweigh it. He's not a bad guy. He's not doing averos. He's shomer Torah mitzvahs. He could even be maybe a happy person to some degree. So now, the rabbi of the shul, this guy, comes and says, listen, he realizes this person spiritually dry. The rabbi comes and says, listen, I see you come to shul, I see you come to share once in a while, but I know you. I know you're not really trying too much more, and you have a good head, and you have a nice amount of money, you give more tzedakah, you could, do you not think about the world to come at all? Do you know about that world to come? Right? You believe that? Of course I believe in Olam Haba. Tchias HaMesim, Mashiach Vada, Geula. Of course I do. Do you believe that you have to prepare for that? He says, yeah, I mean, of course I do, but I do my basic minimum, I do it, but I have so many more obligations. I have to take care of my family. I have a lot of worries, a lot of needs. I have a lot of bills to pay. I just don't have time. So the rabbi says, listen, don't you believe that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is he's capable of helping you out? Maybe you're going overboard with it? No, I'm not. Because this is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants. He wants us to do Hishtadlus. Page 218, the bottom paragraph. When a person rebukes him, or a teacher guides him in the proper way to behave, and says to him, until when will you be unconcerned with the provisions that you need to prepare for the world to come, and with the matters of your ultimate resting place? The rabbi goes to him and says, listen, buddy, you got to wake up and smell the coffee, You got to wake up. There's more to life than just the Gashmis. There's a whole world of Ruchnius. And not only, and this is parenthetically, because the Chavos doesn't say this, but I believe this to be totally true, and I think everybody would agree to it, that not only is this person going to give up his Olam Haba by totally stressing and worrying about the Gashmis world, he's giving up his Olam Hazeh. Giving up his Olam Hazeh. A person, a real habitachon, again, we're in the parentheses here, because it's not, the Chavos is not saying this right now, but if a person is a true habitachon, he's actually calm. Don't worry about all the bills and the worries. Just put that away for now. If a person could truly be calm, imagine that to be so, and he could truly daven, and he could truly learn, and he could give tzedakah in a happy way, and he doesn't have to be stressed out all day long, and he can have a nice relationship with his wife and his kids and his friends and his Rav, and he could, when he dances during Chassan, he's actually happy. Wouldn't you want that? Isn't that a better way to live than not being calm, not being able to daven properly, not being able to learn properly, not having such great relationships, not being calm, being stressed, being anxious? I think it's not even a question. Obviously, it's a much better life in Olam Hazeh, let alone, of course, Olam Haba. But we've discussed the Olam Hazeh portion. It's just a better life. Now, the guy's like, yeah, that's great, but then let's bring all the bills back in. Okay. But before we bring the bills and stuff in, do you at least admit that Olam Hazeh would be better? That's important for a person. Sometimes we get caught up, again, we're still in parentheses. Sometimes we get so caught up in our daily life and our stresses and our worries and the things that we have, we don't even ask ourselves these basic questions. We don't even allow ourselves to fantasize in such a way. Fantasizing about money and luxuries, that we're very good at. But to fantasize what it would be like in a world where I could be calm and I could daven for an hour shachris during the weekday. Can you imagine? And I'm not feeling stressed. I'm not running to a train. And I could sit by the shear and I don't have to run anywhere. I can enjoy it. I can allow the Torah Hashem to filter into my system. I could actually be happy. I could speak to people. I can open up to them. They can open up to me. And it doesn't always have to be with manipulation and what do I want? What do they want from me? What do I want from them? It doesn't always have to be out of stress and right? Let's fantasize about that for a little bit. I think that would be a nice thing to do for a week. Just go into those places. Right? Yontif. You don't have to worry about the bills. You don't have to worry about, going to the store. I don't know if I could buy this piece of meat. It might be too expensive. It's a chaval if people have to do that. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying, could you imagine, fantasize what it would be like? Now, not to go overboard, because also too much gashmis is also not good, even if in a world of no worry. But the right amount to enjoy and to not have to, right, think about work on Shabbos, even though we try not to, but sometimes it's overpowering. Can you imagine a world like that? It's so far-fetched, right? It seems to be that I can get a house in Eretz Yisrael and in Florida and a boat before I can get that. Well, the problem is, if you're thinking about the boat and the house in Eretz Yisrael, that's usually the problem where you can't get to that. But think about that. That'd be a nice dimmish. We just stop right now and just go into that place. I'll put on some nice soft music. Or just imagine what it would be like. Quiet. Anybody ever fantasize about that? What it would be like if I can, learn a Tosos and ask a question in it, or to understand what Sfas Emes is really saying on Shabbos. Maybe once a month to download the Baal Shem Tov. Be nice, no? We went on that trip. Those who were with it. That was a nice davening we had. I keep talking to everybody about the davening. I'm like, do you guys realize how long we davened for? Most people don't even realize. It was over an hour and 45 minutes. That Shabbos. Now, it was with Olhala. It was over an hour and 45 minutes. People are like, oh, it felt like 45 minutes. Time flies when you're having fun. Can you imagine? Davening, learning, it could be geschmack. We just never gave it a chance. Because we have so much worry in the back of our heads. Right? Okay, we get into parentheses now. Bring it back to reality with all the nervousness. So anyway, so this rabbi goes, we're back in the story. The rabbi goes and says, listen, buddy, Lamaisa, you're pretty spiritually dry. I know you have to take care of your family. I get that, totally get that. But listen, there's a big old haba. You're not going to live forever. Do you think you're going to live forever? I said, no, of course I'm not going to live forever. No one lives forever. The rabbi says, but you're living like that. You're living ki'ilu, you're going to live forever. The house that you built, the amount of time you put into work, the amount of money that you have that either you have in the bank account or you're looking to get into the bank account, it looks like you're trying to live for 300, 400 years. No, Rabbi, you don't get it. You don't know. Things can happen. The markets can turn. Oil prices can go up. Trump's a crazy guy. I don't know. I don't know what could happen. I have my family. I have to think, my grandkids will also be nice if I give my kids something for the grand. Rabbi, I just don't know if I have time for that. I don't know if I have time for that. But more than that, he responds. Listen to what he responds. Page 218, bottom paragraph, right in the middle, after the question mark, he responds by saying, when I will have enough money to provide for my food and other needs, and for those who are my responsibility, i.e. my wife and my children, for our entire lives, only then will I rest my mind from the worries of this world. I have responsibility, Rabbi. I can't. I need to make sure that my kids have money and food until they're 120. I can't rest until then. And then I'll rest my mind from the worries of the world. And then I'll turn to pay my responsibility to the Creator and think about the means that will enable me to obtain the provisions for the world to come. But until I have all of that, all the provisions needed, all the bills paid already to the end of my life and maybe my kids' lives, I can't turn to the world to come. I believe in it. Rabbi, I'm a mamin. I believe in it 100%. I can't. You understand, Rabbi? I have a family. I got to take care of them. Isn't that what Hashem wants? Isn't that what God wants? He gave me a family. He wants me to take care of them, right? So this person is who the Chovos is speaking about in the 6th paragraph when he says, I have seen that it is necessary to expose with 7 points the foolishness and errors of those people who engage in this way of thinking. That's who he's referring to. Just the guy right before. We get thrown off because there's a few pages in between, there's a parak shishi. But that's who he's talking to. This person who thinks that he can't start focusing on the world to come until his entire Gashmi's portfolio and all of its wants and needs is fulfilled forever, then he can start. That's the person who he's discussing. This merchant who sells on credit. This is the person. So again, what do the Chovos say? This person who's foolish in thinking, and he's unwise, 222 on the bottom, their conduct towards God, like this person, the way he's speaking. And again, he's shomer Torah mitzvahs. He does keep Torah. He does do mitzvahs. He does daven 3 times a day. Their conduct towards God is akin to a merchant who sells on credit to a person whom he does not trust to pay. He therefore takes a security pledge at the time of the sale out of fear that the buyer can't be trusted or that the buyer won't be able to pay for the merchandise that he purchased. So let's try to be clear. What's the mashal? Who is the merchant? What's he selling? Who's the merchant and what is he selling? The merchant is the Jew. It's pretty obvious. This Jew, the one of foolish thinking. What's he selling? What's he selling? What's he selling that he needs payment up front, or he needs a collateral up front because he doesn't want to sell the goods because he doesn't trust that he might get paid back. What's he selling?
Time, security.
He's selling his time. He's selling himself. He's selling himself.
Time.
You want me?
Commitment.
God, you want to buy me? This is what he's saying. This is the exposing, the expose. We're trying to get into this person's mind. That'd be a great documentary, right? To go into people's minds. I mean, maybe there are. I don't watch them. But to really analyze a person's brain and what he's really thinking, what he's really motivated by when he acts in certain ways. Because we can be very manipulative. We could trick things. Like this guy is trying to say, listen, God, you gave me a wife and kids. I'm so happy. I thank you for that. But now I spend all my time, supporting them. When in reality, if you really open up his brain, he's just nervous. He's worried. He's about taiva. He's about gaiva. He's about kina. But he's saying and believing, by the way, he believes it. I have to take care of my wife and kids, and I can't just give them like tchotchkelach, right? I have to give them like nice stuff. Not the best, because it doesn't have to be the best, but it has to be nice. It's not nice. Because these are your children too. This is your daughter, my wife. These are your grandkids, my kids. Don't you want them to be supported nicely? So I have to spend all that time. That's what he's saying. That's what he's believing. But if you open up his mind, you really crack it open. He doesn't trust the Kadosh Baruch Hu. He's about taiva. He might be about kina. He probably is about gaiva. And he might also be worried, nervous, stressed, anxious, etc., etc., etc. That's what he really is. This is what he's saying and believing. For those who can see my hands. Like this, you want to see a video? This is what we could do. We've spoken about this before. People don't see it. Unless you put it on a piece of paper, people don't see that. They really believe in themselves and in the way they speak and what they... Yeah, okay, I'm not perfect, Rabbi, but like, mostly I'm doing a good job. But if you really get into them, and we're not trying to make anybody upset, we're not trying to judge anybody. We just want people to live an emistic life. They could be happier in Olam Hazeh, and certainly in Olam Haba, to show them what they're really thinking. Because people don't even know what they're thinking.
It's conditional giving.
It's worse than that.
Because it's giving predicated on receiving something in return, rather than trusting
Yes.
to that level of that what I'm giving is she'ena t'lei b'davar.
It's definitely that, and we're going to go how bad it really is as we expose it slowly, but for sure. So you have this guy, and he says to Kadosh Baruch Hu, and that's what he's not saying these words out loud, but this is what in his mind he's really saying. I'll sell myself to you. I'll give you my time. I'll daven for you. This is what he thinks. I'll daven for you. I'll learn Torah for you, which is, by the way, it's a total misconception and misunderstanding of what Torah mitzvahs are. Kadosh Baruch Hu gave it to us, for us to enjoy and to make us better people. That's for a different time. It has nothing to do with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. He doesn't need our Torah mitzvahs. He acts as if he needs it, which in a certain way he does. I don't want to get this right now, but it's really for us. And parentheses. But this person, Kadosh Baruch Hu, I'll work for you. I'll do, I'll sell you the goods. I'll sell you my time. I'll do the Torah thing for you. But I don't know if I'm going to get the payment like I want. And I don't trust that you're going to pay me. So I need a collateral up front. Give me money, give me goods, and to the amount that you give me, I will then serve you. Which, by the way, we know those people never actually end up serving him. Because, and we'll see as we expose them one by one, this person can have tons and tons and tons of money and stuff, but if it's not according to what he believes is enough for his entire life, Son of Kadosh Baruch Hu has yet to give me the full security pledge that now I can be calm and now I can turn towards serving him. So this person will never, ever actually turn towards the Kadosh Baruch Hu. It just won't ever happen. He could be 90 and he's still working because it's not enough. That's what we're going to break this down. So you have this person, so he doesn't trust in the Kadosh Baruch Hu. That's what it is. He doesn't have bitachon. He has emunah to some degree. But he doesn't trust. Now, it could be he doesn't trust that a Kadosh Baruch Hu will have the means to pay him when he needs it. Right? This Yid saying, listen, I have to take care of myself. right now everything's good. But it could come time, there might be a big fire, there could be a car, there could be, I have a college education, I have weddings. I'm going to need the money then. I don't know if you're going to help me out then. So I need to spend the time now. That's one. So I don't trust that you'll provide for me with what I need then, so I need it now. Okay, that's what he's saying. Also, this person might not trust. This is all based on what we learned earlier. Because maybe HaKadosh Baruch Hu will change his mind. Maybe HaKadosh Baruch Hu only if I do Torah and mitzvahs, if I'm learning and davening well, then maybe he'll give me. But if I fall off that, and I'm not doing so well, maybe I sin a few times, I'm nervous that it's contingent, it's conditional, HaKadosh Baruch Hu giving me my money that I need for my family will be contingent on my Torah observance. I don't know if I'm always going to be so Torah observant. I'm nervous that I'm not going to get the payment when I need it, and therefore I can't trust and serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu until he pays me first, which is really based on his own self-doubts. So he's doubting HaKadosh Baruch Hu because he's really doubting himself. And maybe HaKadosh Baruch Hu will just decide sometime down the line, he's just going to withhold my wages. Listen, it happens in businesses sometimes, it happens in schools. They just withhold the wages. They don't have it. They withhold the wages. I can't take that chance, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You understand? I have a family. I can't do that. Okay. So again, this person has emunah. He doesn't have bitachon. What's going on in his head when he tells you that he has no time for Torah observance, he has no time for ruchnius, it's most probably a sham. And the Chosos is really digging into it and saying you're off. You are not a straight thinking person. And he's going to go 7 ways to explain how this person is not thinking straight. And he says in page 223, we started this, the first response we say to such a person, I'm not going to read the non-bold. Just a decision here. I'm going to read only the bold, which is the exact translation to a certain degree of the Chavos Avos. The first response we say to such a person is this: you are a person who doubts the decree of the Creator. In Hebrew, it's Ata ha'isha mistapik b'gezeres habore. You doubt the gezeres habore. You doubt. You might believe in He created the world. You might believe that He's involved, but you have serious doubts in that HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes decrees in this world and that He really runs the world. That's how I would say it. You doubt HaKadosh Baruch Hu's hashgacha pratis in this world, that He actually runs everything. V'she'enu ma'amin begod atzmasa, and he doesn't believe in the greatness of God's strength. This person, he doesn't trust that HaKadosh Baruch Hu could give him what he needs to live life, right? So he's demanding the security pledge. You don't have bitachon. You don't believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu's hashgacha pratis. You believe He created the world. He's the borei. You could even say fancy words like He's the manig, but you don't really buy into that. You're not living that way. You have serious emunah, bitachon issues. Serious. You don't believe that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is all powerful. That's a problem. That's a problem in your basic yesodus of emunah. Right? Many people believe. Again, I'm just trying to go with him. It's being harsh now. It's being a little bit like wake up call. Right? Again, for 220 pages, everything was nice and positive, but now he's laying it in. He's going strong. And he's saying, people, you go your whole life and you could trick yourself thinking that you have emunah, you have basic levels of emunah, and maybe some bitachon, and you'll even admit, okay, I could be better a little bit, but like basically I'm good. And he says, you could be lacking some serious yesodus. You want to know why your davening and your learning is not so good? You want to know why you're such a depressed, angry person? I'll tell you why. Because you don't really have emunah, bitachon, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How do I know? Because of the way you responded. I see right through you, says this rabbi, about Chavos Avos. You're just tricking yourself. You don't believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You don't believe He's all-powerful. Yes, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu came out like Mitzrayim, with fire and the Dam Tzadei Kinam Arov, that you believe. You believe HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave the Torah with Kolos Ubrakim, Avadi. You believe all the miracles on Tanakh. But Ke'ilu, that after the Tanakh, the canon was closed, and the open miracles stopped happening. So, Kadosh Baruch Hu is the all-powerful Kadosh Baruch Hu. I believe He is, but He doesn't live that. He doesn't do that anymore. That's what this person is really thinking. He doesn't believe a Kadosh Baruch Hu runs every single thing in this world. He does believe that he has the responsibility and he has the ability. This Jew thinks that he really can change things and he could demand and he can make effects in this world. And it's only if he does it. This is really what he's thinking. He feels that he's a shutah for the Kadosh Baruch Hu. In a harsh way, he's serving himself. It's like an avodah zarah. It's a weird avodah. And now, why is that? And he goes further, page 223. He says, you are a person whose light of intellect has been darkened and whose candle of understanding has been extinguished. You have no straight thinking. You don't know how to think straight due to the darkness of your desires overcoming you. We'll keep it simple. Last time we went a little deep. You're Baal Taiva. Emma says you're Baal Taiva. This is one of the biggest, and I've heard Rebbe speak about it, it's so subtle. He said that he'll have times where he's talking to people who it's difficult for Shabbos, it's hard for them to daven and to put on tefillin, and they have big philosophical issues. What's the biggest philosophical issue that they have? Listen, if God was really God and he was so loving, how can he make a Holocaust? How could it be? How could it be such a thing? How could there be such tragedies in the world if there's really a loving God? I can't believe that, and if it's hard for me to put tefillin on in the morning. You know what some of the earlier Svarim will tell you? You think of a philosophical issue? You're just about taiva. You're just hiding behind your philosophy. You don't want the obligations. You don't want to have to work hard. You don't want to have to follow everything Kadosh Baruch Hu says because you're about taiva and you want to just be comfortable in life. And you want to have all the food, and you want to have the cake and eat it too, and you want to have all the luxuries. And therefore, you trick yourself by saying, I have a philosophical issue with God. I don't know if I could serve him because of this intellectual issue. When most of these people are just big Bali Taiva. Simple as that. You're just Bali Taiva. If you pull back from Taivas of this world, your head would open up and you start to think straighter. You would see that it's just not Arishkei. That's not how life is. Bali Taiva think that the entire world has to run after them. Right? Bali Taiva think that it always has to be comfortable. Bali Taiva think that if you give me first and a lot, then I will give you. That's how a classic Bali Taiva is living. He's a narcissist. So it's first and foremost. He nails the guy right in the beginning. Listen, buddy, this is your last chance. Because if you don't listen to this harsh, you don't listen to the good stuff. If you don't listen to the harsh mussar that I'm going to try to give you, then that's it. You're done. There's no more to talk to you. But understand, you, sir, with all your logic and all your stuff, I'm not telling you, says the Chovos, to go sit in kollel all day. Chovos is pro-hishtadlus. We learned very strong. It's a mitzvah to do hishtadlus when it's appropriate and to understand why to do hishtadlus. You have to understand it has to be within the sugya of bitachon. It's not hishtadlus and bitachon side by side. We've always said this. It's a big ball of bitachon, and inside that there's hishtadlus. You have to believe and trust in the Kadosh Baruch Hu, and then from that place, understand how much parnassa, how much work you need to do. And people do need to spend a lot of time doing that. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, you're good?
I'm great.
Okay, great.
No, I'm enjoying it a lot.
So you right? So this person, he understands. The Chovos agrees and says, you need to do hishtadlus. But we can't get lost. We have to understand what we're doing and why we're doing it and not trick ourselves. Because this person is really lacking yesodus and emunah bitachon. He thinks he's a responsible father and husband. Yet, really, really, he's lacking emunah, bitachon, and he's a big Baal Taiva. That's such a drastic change. Most people can't just say, yeah, you're right, Taka, you're right. You're right, Rabbi, you got me. That's what they'll say. Okay, you got me, fine, you got me. Rabbi says, oh, so you're going to change your life? No. Because it is a drastic change. What are you going to do? So we have those who are honest and open and want to grow, has to ask themselves these same questions. Has to. He goes weiter. So far, so good. And it's a little strong, but this is, everyone's like, okay, when are we going to finish the sefer? I want to get to the next. Yeah, well, you got to go through the harsh ending first. And then he says, We'll just read in English. We'll finish with this because we did this last time. These last two paragraphs. Surely it is only appropriate for you to request and take a security pledge from your fellow or friend who has no jurisdiction over you and cannot give you orders. So it makes sense. If you're selling to this guy, your friend or some buyer, it makes sense to take a security pledge. It does. However, it is not appropriate for a paid worker who is hired by people to take a security pledge for his pay from his employer before he begins his work. You get hired for a job. You get hired for a job, right? They could have taken you. You were one of 20 candidates. Nice job. And they took you. And you say, listen, guys, I'm happy to work here. I have one condition. Can you give me the first 6 months up front? I'm not sure if your company is going to have the money to pay me, for what I can do for you guys. I'm not sure. Just pay me up front. You going to give that guy a job? Now, it could be there's a guy that's so good, but the guy in a Kadosh Baruch Hu's world who's so good at his job, he would never say such things. Because if you're really, really good at a Kadosh Baruch Hu's job, then you're a mom and you're a habitachon. That's what it means to be really good. Just because you're the biggest Talmid Chacham, if you have no munah bitachon, you're lacking the yesodas. So nobody would ever say that to Kadosh Baruch Hu. So it's silly. A person, you're going to come into the person you work for, who's already, by the way, this is someone who you've already been working for a long time, and he's already paid you your check for all these months and years. Yeah, maybe your job's a little different now. You're a tati, you're a husband, so you have a different job a little bit. You moved up in the company a bissel, yes? But you've already been working in the company since you're born. He's already paid you for many, many years. So now what? Now you're starting to doubt him? That's silliness. That's silliness. All the more so. Now, it's not even, by the way, we're not really even compared to a worker and a Kadosh Baruch Hu as the boss. That sounds nice. That's not even how it really is if you have your head on straight. This guy is so far off. First of all, he thinks he's the boss and the Kadosh Baruch Hu is the worker. But even if you can get him to admit that you're at least a worker and a Kadosh Baruch Hu is the boss, that's still wrong because really, all the more so will a servant not take a security pledge from his master for his livelihood before he's begun to work for his master. We're not even workers. We're slaves. Servants. Let's say servants. Kadosh Baruch Hu has given us everything. He gives us life. He gives us chiyus every moment of every day. We're obligated from the time we wake up to the time we go to sleep to serve him. And we're going to demand a security pledge? You obviously don't see yourself as a servant of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. You don't see yourself as an Eved Hashem. Which, by the way, is the Shaar Avodas Elokim, is the Shaar right before this. He teaches us how we're supposed to see ourselves that way. So if you didn't get it then, we'll get it to you now. And all the more so that he created a being will not take a security pledge from his creator. Even more than a servant. Kadosh Baruch Hu is our creator before he even begins serving him. How crazy could it be that that's how we would speak? Now, what's the point? The point is get your head on straight and start focusing more on your obligations towards the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Start to build that world of bitachon more. Avada, there's shtadlus and parnassus involved. As he's taught us, 100%. And we're supposed to do that. Keeps us out of trouble. It actually helps us grow in this world. If you do your parnassa properly, it's good for us. But make sure that you're doing it for the proper reasons, not because you're nervous, worried, because you're not a mammon, right? All those reasons. The ikr of the chovos is just get our head straight. It's the whole sefer from beginning to end, not just bitachon, everything. Get your head straight. Because if you have a straight head and a straight life, you will be happy in this world and you'll be happy in the next world. Right? And we'll just finish off. I'll just read it. It is astonishing because even when a servant serves his master with the intention of being rewarded after his work, it is considered improper. As it says in Pirkei Avos, don't be like servants who serve their master in order to receive reward. All the more so it is improper when the servant is so brazen-faced that he asks for a security pledge for his livelihood before he begins his work. Similar to the verse states, is this how you repay the Lord, you disgraceful, unwise people? We're not going to end with that line. But that could be one of the reasons why we start our day with a moda'ani and a Netilas Yadayim and a davening and really learning before davening or after davening. According to the Shulchan Aruch, if you learn the Shulchan Aruch, he talks about the waking up in the morning, talks about the davening, and then he talks about before going to work, learning. In Shulchan Aruch. Before you go to work, there should be learning. Because if we don't set ourselves properly, even without the greatest kavanas, then we might fall into this trap of the security pledge people. First, do yours in there. Kadosh Baruch Hu, I'm here to serve you. Waking up, modani, I'm davening, I'm learning, I'm doing the carpools and all these things. And then I'll take care of the other things that you want me to do, which has to do with money and could have mixed kavanas. But the Chovos is teaching us how to think straight, and he's exposing. We're not done. We just did number one. Right, number one, the first expose of what this person's really thinking. He's lacking really bitachon, and he has big tightness. That's the problem. Yeah.
I'd like to discuss a little bit on our guy.
Before we do that, we have to understand. We've already okay, say what you want. There's no reason. We're not trying to protect people here. We're not speaking about a specific person. And I don't know if it's a good idea to.
I'll be more specific.
Unless you need to be mechazik people who might be depressed. But you don't understand.
I got it.
It's not always a good thing.
So to just think about it, reframe it a little bit as far as, because we're calling him a Baal Taiva, that has a very negative connotation.
Okay, so I have to pause you already there. Baal Taiva, now we have to give a whole shir on what that means, because it does have a negative connotation. But we have to Baal Taiva, there's also a Taiva for my needs. Right? If I have to eat breakfast, so I can have a Taiva for breakfast. Is that wrong? No. If you need food, you need breakfast to live, and I have a Taiva for my waffle or my apple, there's nothing wrong with that. But Taiva has a bad connotation. So with that, yes.
Underneath the taiva is the very, very deep sense that we all have of instability, as we already talked about yesterday in the year. And so, we all feel this very, very deep sense that this whole world is unstable. And we try to soothe that with things that will fulfill taivas. But I think what's underneath the taiva is that very deep sense of
lack of bitachon. Yes, that's what instability means.
Right. So
how does that? That's we have to just.
Let me ask you a question in apropos. So how do we deal with and I forgot which Parsha, and Yaakov says, if you give me clothing and something, suddenly I'll become a great guy. It's at the beginning.
I have to be mine into that sugya.
Why?
You answered that question. I didn't get to look into it. You have to look into that. I hear you.
I mean, it's a very troubling passage which deals with this, exactly what we're talking about. That he's asking for some kind of security pledge from Hush. Unless we read it wrong, or the Hebrew is different than the English.
I agree. I hear the question. I have to look into it. I definitely hear your question.
What question?
What is the Baal Bitachon thinking?
The Baal Bitachon?
Yes.
The first 200 pages?
No, but you can sum it up.
Baal Bitachon is somebody who believes in the Kadosh Baruch Hu, created the world, he runs the world. He trusts in him. What does trust mean? That Kadosh Baruch Hu will always take care of me, that he's all powerful, that he can do whatever he needs to. And that although I need to do in this world, I can also be open because I'm calm, because I have stability with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, because I trust him. So I'm not narrow-minded. I'm not always nervous and worried. I'm not always thinking about the next dollar, the next inyan, because Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to take care in the way he needs to. And of course I have to do my ashtadlus. But I can be calm and open and still live life happy. And I could pay attention to my Torah observance. And I can learn for an extra 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, and not think that's taking away from $200, $2,000, and I won't have enough money to pay for my bills if I learn now. And I could daven with a sweetness, and I could daven slow and calm, without running, without my head running, my heart running. I can be open to people if I need to. I always have to be on guard every single second because I don't know what people can do to me, and they're going to steal my secrets, and they're going to steal my... There's a Borei Olam who runs the world. It's something that you have to, what's the word? You have to cultivate over time. You have to cultivate. It grows, it's seeds of bitachon that you plant and you water and you water and you water, and it spreads out to your system so that your head, through your heart, through your hands, and those who have done it know what it feels like a little bit and knows where it could get even better. It's not something that you could just be like, oh, I got it. So back to, hold on. Yeah, go on.
So it could be that a healthy way of approaching this, rather than having an if-then statement, which is if you give me, then. So touching upon this point of where Yitzchak is asking for something. I'm sorry, it was Yaakov. It was Yaakov who asked. So rather than saying it like an if-then statement, we're supposed to daven to Hashem for all of our needs, and if they happen, or if they don't happen, it's not a parameter of my devotion to Hashem. In other words, so what were the requests? The requests were clothing. What were the requests? But there are a couple of basic. There were some basic necessities. But was it? I don't know if it was an if-then statement, meaning you can never let go of the fact that when you're davening to Hashem and asking Hashem, these things would be really helpful. This is where I'm holding right now in my life. Doesn't mean I'm lacking in bitachon. It means I could really use these things. Whether I'm given those things or not, that's not a prerequisite of what I'm going to devote to Hashem or not devote to Hashem. It would be helpful. If you don't give it to me, okay, you know the best. Because in fact, when you daven for things, one of the things you should say is, a request, if this is good for me. It might not be good for me. How do I know? Could be that not having that is a stronger motivator or whatever.
You're 100% right. Just the question is, and Ms. Parker is asking, is that we need to find in the text to see if that corresponds properly.
Right.
So we're going to look into the text, and we're going to, maybe this week
I know there's commentary on it, but I in my opinion,
in our view, we have to see it from this perspective. We need to see it from this perspective.
I don't know if they're stretching it or we're the ones that don't look at it correctly.
Okay, so let's.
All right, it is what it was.
I believe. Tell me, what do you think? Let's say if a person. What time is it? I don't know what time it is. Oh, well, it's getting late.
We good.
Let me ask you this. You have a guy, he's living on an island. Wife and his kids. Maybe he has a small community over there. Not by himself. He's a small island. And they don't have Wi-Fi. There's no cell phones. Right. Can we start one, by the way? And they're living there. Okay? And they're learning, they're doing their thing, and they work on farms, and they do their thing, and they're able to produce electricity. I don't know, whatever it is they're living on. And they have no idea what's going on in the rest of the world. And the rest of the world is, as you see now, there's bombs going off, there's instabilities, there's crazy stuff going on. Yes? Mm-hmm. Those people, are they feeling instability?
No. Sure not.
No, obviously not. Because they don't know about it. They don't hear about it. Let's say they did hear about it. Let's say they heard about it. But they're on an island that is so far removed, and they're self-serving, whatever it is. Self-sufficient, thank you for helping me out there. Self-sustaining, even better. And so they're self-sustaining. And all the, Russia and Ukraine and Hamas, it's really very, very far. And let's say they're not even Jews, let's just say. And they hear about the news. Are they going to feel instability? I would think not. Probably not. Not like it, because they're very far removed. So then what's our problem? What's our problem? Why are we feeling so unstable? Why?
We don't know if it can expand to us.
There's actually an unbelievable Yitzhak.
We're lucky.
Let's just let that question.
That people have.
Let's let that question.
This need.
My point is that with all the instability that people are dealing with, and they're dealing with that instability, it's coming from a lot of places before that, right? The taiva to just be comfortable, There's a big taiva just to be comfortable. Just let things be. I'll work hard, but don't speak to me disrespectfully. Listen, Kadosh Baruch Hu, or whoever you're dealing with, like I'll work hard, but don't disrespect me. And I'm not asking for much. Just let me be comfortable. It's a very big taiva for that. But if anything challenges that, now I become unstable. What's my point? point is that the instabilities that we feel, that we now have to fill up with taivas, is becoming a taiva from before that. But people don't go that deep.
I disagree.
Okay, fine.
I think it's a very fundamental need for safety.
Okay.
Very fundamental.
Fine, but why? What are you not safe with? What is going on in this community right here? Right here, right now.
Oh, today, in this.
Right now. So what are we so unstable about? I'm not living in Eretz Yisrael where they're... I get that. Right here, right now.
In this moment.
In this moment, since you've been born, since you're living here, in America, in New York, it's so crazy?
Yeah.
No, it's not so crazy. In certain places it's been, but for the most part it's not been. There are situations with people, I'm not saying not. Of course there are. For the general amount, it's not, you're getting involved, you mind your own business. That's what my mother-in-law, she's a second grade teacher for a million years. Everybody in TAG probably has had her. She's a big sign on the board when girls like get involved in other people's business. MYOB. Mind your own business. That's our problem. We never mind our own business. We're always getting involved in everybody else's business. The world's business, HaKadosh Baruch Hu's business, everybody's. I dare you. I dare anybody here, or anybody's listening, mind your own business for 6 months. I guarantee you'll live a happier life. Mind your own business. Get off the news. I dare you. I challenge you. I try and challenge you.
Really,
Nothing. No news. Zero. Nothing.
Tell me nothing with it. If we didn't read the paper or watch the news and we just went about it, I bet you
You'd be a happy person.
we'd have no problem.
Okay.
Probably
So,
not.
end the story. I'm telling you, we do it ourselves.
You don't do too much. You turn off.
You just dropped the mic.
I took off
2 hours.
news. There was one time for like a year, 2 years. I remember what it was a long time, years ago. Nothing changed. It was the same Narish guy when he came back. It was the same, this guy's going to destroy the world.